You want me to put that on my Tudor?
Dispute over the children. There can be differences of parenting style between two parents. Usually, however, they reach an accord as to how it is to be done, what the children are to eat, how discipline is to be meted out, what their interests should be, how they're brought up in terms of moral standards, politeness, manners, directing them towards certain pursuits, when bedtime takes place, what it is that they're going to eat and drink and so forth. There will be, sometimes, minor disputes about that. Should the child go to bed at 7 or be allowed to stay up a bit later? Is it okay for them to drink cordial, or is that deemed as inappropriate for their teeth? And those matters and others result in a discussion and compromise and consensus. The reason being that the two individuals concerned have the capability to see the other person's point of view. Throw a narcissist into the mix, however, and it becomes increasingly difficult because of those added ingredients of control and fuel, particularly where there is an unaware narcissist that doesn't know that they require those things and doesn't realise that those factors are shaping their decision-making. And of course, the non-narcissist parent doesn't realise that the behaviour and conduct of the other parent is being governed by narcissism. This means that the narcissist asserts certain demands and requirements over the children, and the non-narcissist parent may well see this as either too strict or too lax. An example, for instance, would involve Angelina Jolie, who I recently put under the Tudor scope. As part of that analysis, I explained to you that there was a clash with Brad Pitt with regard to the parenting of the children. He wanted them to have structure. She apparently let them do what they want. It was a chaotic and ill-disciplined place, according to one of the nannies that worked there. It's therefore no surprise for it to be reported that Harry and Harry's wife can't agree on how to bring up their children. They will both have views as to how that is to be done, and it may well be that they have differing styles based upon different cultural expectations. But the major problem arises in that with Harry's wife being a narcissist, her parenting involves the necessity of assertion of control over Harry, accept what I say with regard to the kids, and over the children, I must control you also. And therefore, devoid of emotional empathy, it isn't the case that her parenting comes from a place of warmth, emotional empathy, caring and compassion, although she thinks it does as a mid-range narcissist, but comes from a position of drawing fuel and asserting control over the relevant members of the family unit. Matt Wilkinson in The Sun reports, they've only been seen together in public 4 times in the past 8 months and have been dogged by claims their marriage is on the rocks. And now, it seems while Prince Harry works on more solo projects and frets about his children's safety, Harry's wife wants to move back into public life, with Archie 4 and Lilibet 2 by her side. An insider said the couple have different ideas on parenting. Pausing there. As I've just explained, some couples have a very similar approach to how they bring up their children. It may well be one of the factors that was discussed before children even came into the being, that they wanted to know how the other person looked at this. Other individuals may have different ideas, but because neither of them are narcissists, they will adopt a compromise approach to it. However, throw a narcissist into the mix, and it makes it far more difficult. The insider explains that Harry has been very affected by his public upbringing. Archie and Lilibet are rarely seen beyond the family's £11 million Monty Shitshow mansion. Of course, there are a variety of reasons put forward as to why that might be, but that's not the purpose of this video. But while Harry, 38, has an obsession with security and privacy, Harry's wife wants to raise them openly in California. Now, pausing there, she hasn't shown much signs of wanting to do that so far because the children are very much hidden away. However, Remember, the narcissist can change their view, turning on a sixpence. That is part of the hypocritical and contrarian nature of the narcissist. The narcissist behaves a particular way on Monday and then behaves in a completely diametrically opposed on Tuesday and doesn't see that there's anything wrong with that. And therefore, it is entirely conceivable that Harry's wife may well adopt a shift in mentality to cause the children to be now raised openly. Furthermore, because Harry's in a sustained devaluation, she is far less likely to take into account what he wants. Indeed, as many of you will have experienced, she will in effect, because he's in the sustained devaluation, seek to do the opposite of what he wants. Because, 1, his view doesn't matter because he's painted black, 2, he'll react to it, thus giving fuel, and 3, she will deem it subconsciously as a form of punishing him for his transgression of becoming a useless appliance in the first place. Apparently, Harry's wife hasn't been overly impressed by Harry's recent focus on 3 high-profile High Court cases in London against the media, including a phone hacking claim against The Sun, which was thrown out by the judge last month. The Sun obviously wanted to get that in there. Believe me, at an earlier point, Harry's wife will have encouraged Harry to take this action because it enables her to assert control by proxy. But as I've explained to you before, when he fucks up, i.e. the claim gets thrown out, it's his fuck up and she distances herself from it. She will then use this against him, triangulating with the failure by saying, "You've been spending too much time concerning yourself about suing newspapers and tackling the media rather than looking after your family." Harry, flabbergasted, will be saying, "Hang on a second, you wanted me to do that." She will of course deny it, and his brain, fogged by emotional thinking and ganja, will struggle to enable him to comprehend what's actually going on. Apparently, although she supports him, she didn't deliver the ultimate show of solidarity by failing to accompany him to court. And while Harry has jetted off on a 5-day trip to Japan and Singapore to play in a polo tournament for his Santa Bale charity with his Argentinian bum chum Ignacio Figueres, Harry's wife was spotted at pop star Taylor Swift's concert in LA with her friend Lucy Fraser. Well, they continue in pumping that out, even though there's no actual evidence of that. In fact, the rarity of the couple's joint appearances in public, just 4 times since the publication of Harry's controversial book Spare in January, has fueled rumours in the United States that they are struggling. Harry's wife would love to be done with all the legal stuff, but she's still supportive of him as she knows how important it is to him. But she is ready to move on. They have a beautiful life in California and new friends. Monty Shit Show is paradise. Harry is very outdoorsy. He loves it there. Rarely seen out in Monty Shit Show, Harry's wife recently visited a local flower market, and the couple marked her 42nd birthday this month with a restaurant visit. And she will join Harry next month in Dusseldorf, Germany, to support his project, the Invictus Games, and to then make it the Harry's Wife Games. A source said of Harry, "There is a difference in how he has grown up. He fears for his own children because of what he has gone through." That is evidencing his emotional empathy for his children. Harry has claimed he took his family to the United States to break the cycle of pain, words obviously that were put into his mouth by his handler, and feared seeing history repeating itself, claiming Harry's wife could end up like his mother, Diana, Princess of Wales, who died in a car crash in 1997. The couple also accused the royal family and the household of failing to support Harry's wife during her bout of suicidal thoughts after Archie's birth in 2019. And while Harry's projects are clearly defined, including the Invictus Games, eco-travel firm Travelist, and his job at mental health agency BetterUp, Harry's wife appears to be jobless since losing her £15 million Spotify deal. Without a UK home after they were evicted from Frogmore Cottage on the Windsor estate this year, and with no more commitments this side of the Atlantic, the couple are planning to put aside criticism and focus on California. The article continues to explain that while differing opinions on raising children is natural, Archie and Lilibet might benefit from being allowed to enjoy their California lives with mum and dad, not just privately behind the security of their Monty Shit Show mansion. So a divergence of opinions with regard to how the children ought to be brought up. Hardly surprising, but it is important to understand what's actually behind that. Initially, Harry's wife will have accorded with Harry as to the way that we would do that, because it was taking place within the golden period. However, now that he's in a sustained devaluation, the bringing up of the children is something that she can use against him to provoke him. She can triangulate him with the concept of how the children are brought up. He wants to protect them. He wants to ensure that they don't suffer in the way that he did. He wants to keep them hidden. Harry's wife now appears to be having a volte-face in that direction, and he's suggesting that things should be more open. She's not doing that because she cares about the children. She's not doing that because she's got emotional empathy for them. She's doing it essentially to control Harry by winding him up about the issue, something which is entirely common when it comes to parenting issues with a narcissist. It isn't a surprise that they can't agree on how to bring up their children, as a consequence of the fact that a narcissist uses the issue for the purpose of controlling those around her, principally the intimate partner primary source and the non-intimate secondary sources that are the children. I'm H.G. Tudor. Thank you for listening.